Hang on, kids. I gotta get my coffee. Oh, there's actually, so we're doing something fun. This is streaming on the Facebook Sully Guitars page to you guys. It's also streaming live on the YouTube channel. So hello to the 6 of you that are watching right now. Actually, for those that are, hang on Facebook. For those that are joining us on YouTube, welcome. This is Saturday morning. I feel like I'm shouting. Saturday morning, I usually do a live stream on the Facebook page, and I'm just having breakfast, and we're just talking about anything. We've talked about Pop-Tarts, people's favorite breakfast foods. We've talked about your desert island cereal. The correct answer is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. We've talked about quitting smoking. We've talked about guitars. Hey, Pockler 1996. Thanks for watching. Thanks for saying hi. And so this is kind of just a little. We've talked. Yes, as Ted points out on the Facebook channel, we've talked about. Ketchup packets. Ted once ate a ketchup packet that he saved from the 80s. Oh, oops. Oh, you know what? Hang on a second. I missed a comment over here. This is going to be. Wait. Oh, so did I like the Long Vale train? What's for breakfast? Okay. All right. Cool. So we will talk about the royal wedding. Let me. Oh, Drew's got to go. Good luck at the guitar show, and good luck. Will I ever accept Bitcoin payment? No, I can't imagine. I have a great place for amazing loose leaf tea if you're interested. Oh, that's interesting. Ketchup pack. Okay. What other music or artists do I listen to besides rock? Okay, that's good. Thought this was going to be at Denny's. Where's my chicken fried steak and eggs? Do I take formal? Oh wow, we've got a lot of questions. So I'm going to. I am juggling platforms here. Actually, let me move. Let me move Facebook a little bit closer to YouTube, so it looks like I can. There we go. Yeah. So we've got fruit, pineapple. What conditioner do I use for my hair? It looks really good. Thank you. You know, one of my dreams in life was to initially become a rock star and then to become a guitar builder. All the while doing all of that with salon quality hair. Sometimes I fall short of that goal. Now is not one of those times. So I use Therapy. It's very good. Highly recommended. No sulfates. Very good. Okay, so let's get some. Do I take formal lessons? Formal, like for guitar playing. I've taken guitar lessons on and off over when I was younger, and in my 30s, I took some lessons from DJ Nelson, and but just kind of on and off. I enjoyed learning. I have a really hard time applying what I've learned to my own playing. So I make a really good parrot, you know? Like if, say if you wanted to hear, I don't know, something that sounded like Ace Frehley, I'd go. But, you know, I mean, yeah, I know I'm playing in a pentatonic scale and all that stuff, but if, when it comes to actual like technique and knowing what I'm doing, I've forgotten a lot of it, unfortunately. But as far as like guitar building, did I take lessons? No. Well, so no, I didn't take formal lessons. I watched, you know, I've watched people, you know, do things and kind of that sort of stuff. Read a ton of books, and then got to it in small bits and pieces. Trial and error has been my best teacher. Now, of course, as I've gone along and my network of people have kind of expanded, you know, you learn things from other people and stuff. But, you know, when I was talking about this the other day, when I was out at Grover Jackson's shop. Ooh, what 3 books would you recommend most? You know, the Dan Earlywine stuff. But when I was out at Grover Jackson's shop a couple years ago, 2 summers ago, when we were making the guitars, it was so fun for me because, like, you know, I'm like binding a fretboard. And the one thing that I love about seeing other people's shops is we all have different ways of doing things. And there's always a ton of things that you can learn. But, you know, it was so fun to go and, you know, use the binding fixture that they use for fretboards. And it's the fastest, most greatest thing in the world. And they made me one. And it was just, I love it dearly. You know, it was so cool to go ahead and you know, put binding on a fretboard, and I'm like, is this good? And I'm like, I know it's fine. It's just binding on a fretboard, but you know, it's so nice to be able to turn it over to someone and say like, and like, yeah, that's perfect. I'm like, oh, thanks. But you know, and you know, when I there was a guy named, well, is a guy named Kevin Easton who is in Fort Worth, and he has a repair business, the Easton Guitar Shack-O-Rama, and he also works with the company Vintage Guitars, and he kind of customizes them and is kind of like their U.S. Custom shop dude. And he used to work for Jackson. He was Jackson's brand manager in the 90s and into the early 2000s before the buyout, when Jackson's corporate office was in Fort Worth. And I moved down here soon after that buyout. And, you know, Kevin would let me come by and you know, he showed me how to, you know, just basic stuff, like, you know, leveling frets, and just kind of, you know, here's the process, here's what you do. And you know, you kind of take things like that and you go. But that is my best answer for if I've taken lessons. Let's see, we've got some other questions. Oh, pardon my thumb here. So those of you on YouTube, hello. Let me kind of scroll through, see if I miss anything. Considering if I could play guitar and use loud machines, have I ever upset some of my neighbors? You know, I'm very fortunate with that. You know, I work during the daytime. Most people are at work. And, but you know, I've lived in my home for 12 or so years. And there's never been a problem, which is nice. Sometimes I'll notice, I'm like, holy shit, that's really loud. But everybody's been cool. So that's good. It's a good question. I did watch the royal wedding coverage on HBO because it was Will Ferrell and Molly Shannon, they have these characters, Cord and Tish, and they just kind of did live commentary, and it's really funny. They did one for the Rose Parade this past January, and it was just fun. So my dogs wake me up really early in the morning. Mrs. Sully had to go to the rink early this morning, so I was kind of up a little bit before the thing started. So I'm like, hey, what the hell, I'll watch it. Let's see. Okay, we're not at Denny's. Chicken. Okay, we talked about that. What other music artists do I listen to besides rock? Asks Robert L. Hicks Jr. You know, oh, I have to say, I'm doing this on my phone right now, so I can't show you, but really have been enjoying, and I feel bad because that I haven't really been listening to him for very long, but the Donald Glover, Childish Gambino stuff. The last full album that he did, and I'm forgetting the title of it right now. It's on my phone and I don't remember. But it was just this great like 70s style funk and R&B, and it's just, man, it was so good. That guy is so freaking talented. So I've been listening to that a lot. Really been enjoying that record. You know, I got an album sent to me that arrived yesterday from a band called Seven, VII. And their guitar player, Shane, I built a couple of Galaxy Bs for him, and when they were a thing. And he sent me a copy of the band's newest record called Chronicus. And I'd say it's like old school classic metal. So if you are a fan of old school classic metal, ooh, there's a question over here. Are you really asking me what I think about Randy Rhoads? Okay, I don't know if you're thinking if that's an actual question for me, or if that's partially trolling me, but we'll talk about that in a second. So I really love the Childish Gambino record. The Seven, this album from Seven called Chronicus, it's really fucking good. It just rips. And so check them out. It's just VII. So learning the Roman numerals, kids, it's important. You know, as someone who, so Robert, who's a junior, I'm a sixth. So that's like a VI right there. And my son, TJ, is the seventh VII. So it's important and fun. So I guess if he ever has a son, and, you know, I've often joked that, you know, if you ever have kids and if you have a son, you know, you got to do it or you're out of the will, whatever will that is. You know, and then I'm like, well, you can have a, if you ever have a son, we'll just call him Ocho. So those are, so I love a lot of things. I have noticed though that, and I've talked about this, that as far as kind of being a metal guy, I'm not much of a metal fan, which is kind of a drag, but I like things that are big and sexy and fun, but not all big, sexy, fun things. I like quiet things, and, you know, I mean, just like you, I'm sure you listen to a lot of different stuff too. Let's see. Ooh, ketchup packets. Okay, loose leaf tea. Is that anything like loose leaf paper? Well, except okay, no. Yanni or Laurel. We don't get along with YouTube people. No, that's not true. How about giving thoughts about what I think will happen with Gibson? I don't care what happens to Gibson. They're going to be fine. I think the too big to fail stuff applies to them. Gibson has been, I think Banksy summed it up. Could you hear that? He just went, I don't really care what happens to them. And I don't mean this much. Okay, I just don't care. It doesn't impact me. I'm not necessarily a guitar buyer. I think that they have had a reputation for building guitars of hit and miss quality since the 70s. That's never changed. You know, back in my day, you could get Les Paul Customs used for like $500. in the early mid 80s, they really weren't as popular because the guitars weren't good. And new brands with quality products came out, like Charvel Jackson. Peace and love to the Facebook chat. Let's get along. Yes, yes, yes. Let's all get along. I would invite those to my dear YouTube people that are watching. Thank you first for watching the videos that I've done. You may notice that a lot of the videos on the YouTube channel some of those are approaching 10 years old. And a lot of the videos on there are years old. And that's for a few reasons. But if you want video content, there's a shitload more of it on the Facebook page. I'm trying to do better on the YouTube channel. It's just sometimes it's hard to manage. So all of these things. So anyway, so yeah, as far as what will happen with Gibson, they're going to be fine. They're restructuring. No one's going out of business. People say, see bankruptcy is like, oh my God, they're done, and nothing's further from the truth. They're going to they're going to do what they got to do to fix their business. It's not anything I worry too much. Let's see. Next question. So we have a question about the Alita. The Alita, James, if you haven't seen it, it has been redesigned and will be a full-time model. Get rid of Henry for starters. Well, yeah. Yeah. Am I going to do any more building videos? I haven't seen one in a while. No, I'm not. For a few reasons. The main thing is I just don't. I build guitars for a living. Doing the videos in the manner that I used to do them, where I tried to create some production value and stuff like that, it's just too much. It takes too much time. I don't have it available. My workload is such, and has been is such, that I don't have the time available to dedicate to it. And then the other thing is that I noticed, please don't take this the wrong way. What good comes from a statement like after that? When I started doing the videos, all I really wanted to do was just kind of, there's Nico, was just kind of share, hey, this is what I'm working on. And if you want to do this, you can. And here's some things that, maybe to think about, but it's never really, in my mind, was intended to be a how-to kind of thing. And in the first few years, I spent a lot of time answering every single question. And that became very consuming. And all the while I'm doing these things, I'm in the background. The main objective was really to focus on Sully guitars and Sully guitars as a brand, and not me as a guitar building instructor. When I eventually went full-time, and actually even before I went full-time building, I started doing classes where you could come to my shop and you can take a guitar building class, and they're fun. And this started a bit of conflict, because I thought to myself, well, if someone is going to be paying money to come to Sullyville and build a guitar with me, it's not really fair to them for me to have all of these how-to videos, for free. And there are all kinds of, subscription models and things like that you can do, and, paywalls and this, that, and the other thing. And it was just really too much to manage. And really my main priority was to build Sully guitars, and not really establish myself further as an instructor in the art, for lack of a better term. So you may have noticed that there was a neck through Raven that I built and I filmed. You'll notice that the style changed, where it's mostly I might talk a little bit about what I'm doing, but I'm not necessarily talking about how I'm doing it. It's more of like follow along. You can still get stuff from that, but out of respect to those that took classes, I felt that was the way to go. And I just don't really do the videos anymore because it's just way too time consuming. I just like watching your build process. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I enjoy watching build processes of other builders too. There's always something you can pick out. Even sometimes when you're using the same tools as the person in the video, it's like, oh, well, they've got this cool fixture that I hadn't really thought of. And that's cool. So, unless I had I don't have a camera crew and people to edit the videos and all that stuff, and it's just way too time consuming to continue the Sully's Guitar Garage videos in the manner that I did them. However, there's like over 100 there. They're not all good. I don't even know if the large majority of them are good. I'd say they're mildly entertaining, which is all I really wanted to do to begin with. And I don't foresee those videos going anywhere, so they will still be there. More questions. Let's see. Oh, sorry, my thumb. What's my overall favorite shape style of guitar? I haven't really. I watched all of them. Well, come over to the Facebook page. There's a shitload of videos there. Completely different content. More interactive, too. My favorite style of guitar, these days, I do have a few like non-Sully guitars. Not too many. But, Strats are always a great sitting on the couch style guitar. I'm also a fan of larger guitars because I'm not the smallest person in the world. So some guitars look very, very small on me. I'm not the largest person in the world, but you get the point. And I like this little Stardust Deluxe over here. This is all ebony, so it's got an ebony top, ebony fretboard, ebony head plate, ebony truss rod cover, mahogany back. I like playing this one. It's Oh, so here's a fun thing. So we all like Jake Ely, right? And if you saw that that video on YouTube of Jake Ely shows you how to properly play Bark at the Moon, So I was there. That was filmed at Lava Cable in Tulsa. They were having a corporate event to celebrate their 10th anniversary, and Red Dragon Cartel did a set. They did about 6 songs, and then Jake did a Q&A. And so that was one of the things he was, talking about was Bark the Moon. Another thing that he was talking about, and I think it covers it in that video, like when he was talking about like that ending solo, and how he's seen a bunch of people like, nobody plays it right, and I'll be the first person, I don't play it right. I do it like a cheater version, like. Close enough. So he was talking about, you come up with the melody of what you want to play, and then you have to figure out like where it sounds best on the neck. And and he used like Paranoid as an example, because a lot of people will be like. But if you watch Tony play it, he plays it here. Same notes, different location. And he was talking about, he was on the cover of, Guitar for the Practicing Musician years ago, and there was a transcription of High Wire, Badlands song. And they played it that night, and it was interesting because, if you have that issue, it's just. Jake plays it. So I thought that was kind of cool, and it was funny when he was going and people were bringing things for him to sign, and if they're like tab books or whatever, he would like go to that song and be like, "That's wrong," and he would like write it in what it really was and stuff. It was really funny. So right now, I enjoy playing Stardusts. This one in particular, I've got another plan for another Stardust Deluxe. Found a really cool Koa top yesterday, so might make that. I like Ravens. If I just am gonna grab a guitar that I just want to play, just kind of sitting down or whatever, 71s are damn comfy. You know, they all work for me, but that's my favorite. Let's see. Let's go over here. Do we have any questions that I missed here? It's Saturday. Where's the best beer for breakfast? Well, I personally, I am. Yes. Childish Gambino, Awaken My Love. Yes. Thank you, Justin Patrick. That was the name of the album. So we had a question, what do I think of Randy Rhoads? Randy Rhoads is my absolute favorite guitar player. Do I think Eddie Van Halen invented wax potting? Probably not, but I don't really care. I don't know. He might have. I was, yeah, you know, there's for those that like the videos, there's a video that I had, it's like, hey, Sully, what do you like, you know, it's like a Ford or Chevy kind of thing, Ed or Randy, and there's a whole long answer about that. Koa top sounds nice. Do you recommend a place to, wait, oh, where'd that question go? Oh, damn it. Cancel. Koa top sounds nice. Do you recommend a place to buy quality lumber in the DFW area? Preferably in the Fort Worth side. I get most of my stuff locally. I'm not near Fort Worth. I go to Wood World sometimes, and I get a lot of stuff at Dakota Hardwoods. Let's see. Always been curious about how fretboard inlays are put into the fretboard. Care to give a very brief explanation of the process? Of course. You cut out the pocket that the inlay is going to sit in. You then cut the inlay out. Press in, and it should be a little bit taller than the fretboard. You don't want it too tall because the inlays are generally about 1/16 of an inch thick. And if it's sitting very proud of the fretboard, you know, it's when you are trimming the material to the fretboard shape, you might lose a little bit. What's it like to do what you love as a living instead of having to work for a paycheck? It's very great. It's also scary, and it's never ending. I consider, you know, what we're talking, we're having fun, but this is also some of it's work because it's about marketing and promoting the brand and having interaction with people that are interested in this crazy stuff that I do called building guitars. So you work out from cantaloupe, and today's cantaloupe is pretty solid in a good way. Today's fruit offerings have been quite delicious. I'm very happy about that. So cut the pocket out, you cut your inlay piece out, glue that in, get it flush. That's pretty much it. If you're doing dots, those are drilled. You just get a drill bit, like a 1/4 inch drill bit. Put your dot inlay in, get it level. Alice says, morning, Sully. Morning, Alice. Let's see. Oh, Christopher, this is very, let's see, I don't want to read this out loud because it's a little self-serving. If I do, thank you. I built a mahogany telly that weighs 9.5 pounds. What do average guitars weigh? I don't know. I don't fat shame guitars. I think if you can get it under 8, that's generally a little bit more desirable. Some people like heavy guitars. Yeah. Biggest challenge of starting and growing a small business. Goodness. I would say one of the biggest challenges is figuring out where your time is best spent. You know, because there are a bunch of different models that I would like to release, or, you know, it's just like, I want to build like 40 guitars, and then we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. And you got to pick, you got to know where to start. You got to, you know, you got to start. Otherwise you can get the whole analysis paralysis. But understanding where your time is best spent. So time management, marketing, establishing, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Differentiating what you do from what's already out there. You know, so that people don't have to ask you that the BS interview question of like, so what differentiates a Sully guitar from all the other ones? I don't know, man. You come and play one. Let me know what you think. If you like it, fucking come on over. If it's not for you, hey man, that's cool. There are a ton of guitars that are out there. All good. Let's see. Hi Sully, how are you? How is your life now since you left your day job and fully focusing on guitar building? Must be satisfying and fun. Yeah, it's way better. Classic metal like Priest and Thin Lizzy, asks Mark Penichar. I'd say maybe like Priest, Motorhead, like Merciful Fate, stuff like that. But, you know, I'll say if you like Priest, you'll definitely like them. I see. Okay. Oh, I'm Chris Stewart this morning. Do I listen to younger bands like Periphery, Contortionist, Laney? Yes, but all of those are kind of prog stuff, and I just can't. It's not something that I've been able to really enjoy more on for anything more than like, man, that guy's really a really talented guitar player. It's not necessarily something that resonates with me, which is, you know, the way it goes, I guess. There's a ton of stuff that he posts on Facebook. Why the long gaps between uploads? Seems like you've become a bit occasional. Yes, absolutely, on YouTube. There's a ton of content on the Facebook page. And I kind of talked about it already, but I mean, you know, it's not your fault. You got here when you got here. I stopped doing the build videos for a bunch of reasons. The largest one was the amount of time involved. And I only have so much time. The Contour Dance Party had me thinking about consistency, guitar to guitar and hand belt guitars, necks and whatnot. I sure are painstakingly measured, but what about contours? I would tell you that there's a fair amount of variance in both of those things. So the way I do contours, a lot of it is I will just draw it on the body. Any thoughts on Gibson filing for bankruptcy? Yes, I don't care. They're going to be fine. They're not going away. You'll still be able to they're still going to make guitars. They're doing a restructuring. I absolutely think they should get rid of their CEO, although I don't believe that's occurring at this point, which is unfortunate, but it's the way it is, and I can't worry about them. So like contours and stuff, you know, I kind of sketch it out, and there absolutely is variances. As far as neck shapes go, there are thicknesses that I get things to, but they're all hand shaped. So they're all hand shaped for now. I am working on getting more CNC stuff incorporated, and I am really happy about that personally, because then I know that, hey, that neck shape is killer. Let's make 1 million of those. Yeah. See, yeah. James, I'm not surprised that you weren't aware of that. I did notice earlier this year there was, you know, kind of like a little Facebook algorithm change, and I was finally impacted by it. So the Alita has been redesigned. It absolutely will be part of the conspiracy series. And yes. Oh, oh. Hello, Sully. I cannot afford a guitar tutor. What are your thoughts on Guitar Pro for learning? P.S. I love your videos. I don't know what Guitar Pro is. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm sorry. There was a question about tunematic bridges somewhere. Hang on. How do tunematic bridges become so popular? I prefer the adjustability of mobile saddles. Tunematic bridges have minimal adjustability and are just plain boring to me. How did they become popular? Because for many years they were the only things available. Yeah. And I don't know. I think I'm not for or against tunematic bridges. I prefer the Godot style that has a bit of a wider travel. Yeah, I mean, depending on how you angle it, you get all the intonation that you need. I understand that visually they're not for some people, and quite frankly, they're not. I use them a fair amount on custom orders. I don't use them as a default bridge on any model. Like if I were to make a Raven, by default, I probably wouldn't put a tunematic stop tail bridge. Definitely, yeah, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably use something else. Let's see. Floyd says, Greyhound? Yes, I have 2. Matthew Barry's watching. Happy birthday, buddy! See, Matthew Barry is one of my favorite people. We used to work together a million years ago. Am I still using the same pickups? Yes, I am. You should too. Matthew Barry and I used to work at T-Mobile like a million years ago. And we just always greet each other with happy birthday because it's fun to announce in front of like a group of people. And they're like, oh, I didn't know it was your birthday. And you're like, eh, it's not, but it's fun. So like next time you see somebody in a large group, like, hey, Steve, happy birthday. Jeanette, happy birthday. Speaking of birthdays, I think I'm going, well, I don't have one coming up, but I think I'm going to start lying about my age, say that I'm older than I really am, just so people will say, man, you look fantastic for 60. Yeah, thanks. Oh, almost dropped my fork. Good cantaloupe today. Let's see. Oh, Eric Westenberg. Hey, Sully, Westy from Canada here. Okay, hang on. I'm sorry. I love my friends to the north, but I am going to read this in the voice of Rick Moranis as best as I possibly can. How saturated is the boutique guitar builder market in the U.S. as compared to the north of the border and worldwide? I just started my first guitar build and I'm falling in love with it. Well, that's good. You know, I don't know. There's a ton of guitar builders. There are a million guitar builders. There are like 8 guitar painters. So, you know, like when people say, hey, you know, my son or daughter, they're learning, you know, they want to learn how to play an instrument. What do you recommend? And you often will say, dude, play bass because you'll always be in a band. There are a million guitar builders. Like on my block, there's a million guitar. Everybody's a fucking guitar builder. Be a guitar painter. Be a guitar painter. Get good at it, and you will always have work. Always. 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 I stopped doing my own a few years ago just because of the amount of time it takes to switch things over and from woodworking to paint, and you've just gotta be so well set up for it to get the results that you want. And I got good results, but I knew that someone that painted for a living, they do that all day. They're gonna do a better job than I will, and they should. So I thought, well, let's get some good painters, and I haven't really looked back. Although I have done some finished work since then, here and there. Learn how to paint. However, for those that, oh wait, I had a question over here. I'm sorry, I can't make this come back. Come back. Texas Buckeye Burl Tops. I don't know what that question, like, do I use them? No. I have a guitar in process right now that's got, it's like 100-year-old redwood burl top, and I mean, it's cool. The Brawl stuff is definitely definitely in fashion right now. The guitar building, it's a fashion business for sure. Um, but like for those that are just starting out, just build guitars. What was one of your biggest mistakes you made starting? Oh, yes, nice Canadian accent. You know, one second. So as far as building, you know, people say, you know, oh, I want to build guitars. What advice do you have? If you want to be a guitar builder, be a guitar builder. That means, like anything else, if you want to get into film, get into film. Start making movies. You can do so much with so little these days that you should. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to build a guitar and then start a guitar company. Don't do that, because you're as exciting as it is, and as nice as that guitar may have turned out, it's one guitar. Keep building them. Don't be in a hurry. Just build the guitars, and when you get to the point where you can sell them, you know, that's something different. But there's a lot to be said for taking your time. Get good at it, build a following. You know, that's really the kind of best advice I have for people. If you're falling in love with building, dude, that's great. Keep doing it for as long as it's fun. And I don't know, I think that kind of applies to a lot of things in life. When we were kids, we would do stuff until it stopped being fun. Something to that. Let's see. Good morning, Tammy Davis Turner. Patrick Woodworld. Is there any guitar you get I regret getting rid of? Yes. Okay, and I'm caught up with Facebook questions as I've seen them. Yeah, I personally just want to build all of my equipment. Yeah, hell yeah, man, that's great. Is there any guitar I regret getting rid of? Yes, I've been able to actually get some of them back, which is kind of fun. But there are a couple of custom Jacksons that I wish I still had. Right, Nico? You want to go outside? You want to go outside? No? What do you want? You want to go outside? Hang on a second. Nico's got to pee. Talk amongst yourselves. Banksy, you want to go outside? Hey, what box? Banksy, you want to go outside? Okay, Nico, let's go outside. Come on, baby. Okay, so for my YouTube friends here, someone had asked if earlier if I was into Randy Rhoads at all. If it's a genuine question, hey JJ, how you doing? So this 71 here, you'll notice has Randy Rhoads themed style pinstripes on it. This was painted by the same guy that painted Randy's white V. You'll notice this is blue with white pinstripes. These are the same colors that were used on Randy's white V. Those pinstripes on his white V and the headstock that we once thought were black are blue. So, yeah, Randy's my guy. I'm gonna put this away. Now, we had some questions. Thanks, Tammy. Oh, wait, what's this? I knew I wasn't going to be able to work on 8th grade. Made a fish in wood shop. Brought it home, and my dad thought it was a camel. That was it. Aw, Ted. So I didn't have, I did wood shop in 7th grade and made a shelf. And it was, not good. That was the extent of my woodworking experience. Everything that I do, I had to kind of learn on my own. And yeah, so there's a lot of things. There are a lot of tools that maybe like common woodworking tools and things that I don't use, like chisels and stuff like that. Things that are probably, I've got one, but I don't use it too much. You know, but you can get really far with a somewhat basic bandsaw and a router and a drill press and a joiner. Ooh, Chip Roberts. Sully, he shouts. You're in pretty good shape. What's been helpful to you in maintaining physical fitness? Well, Chip, I'm glad you've asked. So I'm very fortunate that you can't see it all. So you know, Mrs. Sully is a very fit lady, and I haven't worked out in longer than I should. Like it's been a few months. But what I was doing was something called PIYO, PIYO, which is Pilates and yoga. You can do it anywhere. And I try not to eat terribly. I'm by no means a health food guy, but you know, like I think that broccoli should be stamped out. But you know, yeah, I just try not to eat terribly. Let me see. Okay, hang on. We have some comments. Ooh, someone asked Brian asked rock and roll over versus love gun. Rock and roll over for sure. I miss having a place to do some woodworking. Oh, where'd that go? Cancel. Guess that's the downside of living in the city. You know, there might be a like a makerspace near you. There's one in Dallas, and I'm a member. I haven't been in months, which means I really got to cancel that membership. But yes. So Rock and Roll Over versus Love Gun. I think Rock and Roll Over is a much better record than Love Gun. Someone says the ongoing trend. Talk about the ongoing trend of multi-scale / headless guitars. You know, as the multi-scale thing is, you know, I'm kind of close to. Yeah, get yourself a makerspace. The multi-scale thing I'm close to in my friendship with Perry Ormsby. And in knowing him, we've known each other for over 15 years. And, you know, he started doing his multi-scale thing like 10 years ago. And things are finally catching on they're more mainstream now. I think they're fine. I think it's an advancement of the instrument. I don't think that there's 100% room for it. Otherwise, people wouldn't be buying the guitars and people wouldn't be building them. The headless thing is not for me. I wasn't really a fan of it in the 80s, and I'm not really a fan of it now. However, some people really like it, and that's cool. I'm happy for them that they have options and builders that are very passionate about building headless guitars. And you know, I don't know. I just think my headstock's too pretty to chop off. I am joking, kind of, but yeah, it's not really for me. But I will say that the Ormsby Goliath is the best headless guitar shape that I've seen, because there's one, like the most. A lot of the shapes just don't work for me. There's one in particular that is very popular. That the bottom of it, to me, Mrs. Sully saw them and she's like, "Those just aren't sexy. There's just nothing sexy about that." And the bottom of that guitar, she said, "It looks like saggy boobs," and that's all I can see. What is my favorite body and tone wood pairing? I don't know that I have a favorite. You know, it's hard to go wrong with mahogany and maple for bodies. Like this Stardust Deluxe is mahogany with an ebony top and a maple neck and an ebony fretboard, and this has as Perfecto De Castro discovered, it's got a really great like growl to it. you know, I think that there are a bunch of woods that you can use, and even within those species, you're going to get different sounds and stuff like that. You know, you can just get decent results from them, though. Let's see. Starts with an S. What is? Starts with an S. Oh, the saggy boobs? No. The real question is blizzard or diary. Oh boy. Okay, destroyer or rock and roll over? Rock and roll over. Hey, Sully, thanks for passing on all the knowledge, guys. Like you were saying. Okay, well, that's very kind of you, Dave. My favorite body and toy parent cage. Just answer that. Cheers from Romania. Holy crap! Cheers to Romania. Destroyer, rock and roll over. Okay, rock and roll over. Thoughts on Greta Van Fleet? I think they're good. Everybody, the singer sounds just like Robert Plant. They're high school students, or they were high school students. I'd like to hear what they sound like in a few years when they've matured as a band and stuff like that. I dig them. Thoughts on the 88 MP1, also known as the greatest preamp of all time. I've talked about this before. I'm so not an amp effects guy. I never really had any of that stuff, so I don't really have a. I know it's you know, whenever you mention one, someone my age will go, "Oh man, I had one of those," and I remember the ads. Natural background, that is all. Thank you. Adam says, good morning. Good morning, Adam. What is my favorite brand of router bits? Whatever's nearby. Blizzard or diary is impossible. Wait, did I catch you when you were still actually live? Yes, JJ. Emery Fry is watching. Yeah, Emery Fry. Emery Fry saw me botch the Shock Me solo up close and personal. Oh, I gotta get Nico. Blizzard or diary? Okay, hang on. Okay, blizzard or diary? Are we ready for this? So I'm going to say blizzard. Here's why. And actually, yeah, no, here's why. Blizzard is a completed album. Diary was not. Diary was not finished. Diary was, the band was sent out on the road before they finished it. And some of those solos on that album are scratch tracks. Did you ever notice that the solo in Believer on Diary of a Madman starts out note for note the same as the first solo in Mr. Crowley? And then, if you listen to the live stuff, Randy never played that solo in the studio version. He always started it out different. I think that's part of the reason. One of my favorite solos of Randy's is in Tonight. It's one of the most graceful sounding things I've heard on a lead guitar in that kind of setting. And it's funny is that to me there were parts of that solo that like made me think of it like a figure skating routine. And this was like it's something I thought of in the 90s. It was just very graceful and flowing, and I was initially thinking like, oh, well, let me play a few passes. And I'm like, not if I'm trying to prove a point about something being graceful and flowing. But the way that that solo moves and the way that it ended, it ends just that this little note that just goes, and then it just goes, and then. Oops, we're out of tune. Man, that it's and Over the Mountain was the first the first Ozzy song that I heard with Randy. Tore my face off. But I think I got to go Blizzard because it's a completed album. There you go. Okay, so yes, you caught me last night. My favorite. Okay, and what's that? Stardust Deluxe plus Micro Cube equals tones. Yes, I've got the Micro Cube. What's my favorite conditioner? Well, Emery, I'm glad you've asked. It is, oh God, Cara Therapy, I think is what it's called. Cara Therapy, good stuff. Sulfate free for a sulfate free hair. Teresa says, Sully! First Saturday I've had off work in a while. Happy to see your face. Apparently I missed breakfast though. You did. I had fruit. It was good. What is your favorite oddball Gibson? And do you have an oddball Fender guitar that I like as well? Would I ever think of doing your take on any of those models? Let me go over to YouTube real quick. Let's see if we have any. Okay, no makerspace in Bordeaux. I'm sorry. Okay. I think I've. Oh, one of my biggest mistakes I made starting out. You know, one recently, semi-recently, was like last year, I was making a Raven, and it was, you know, I've got all different neck templates and stuff, and Ravens are set neck guitars. That's what set neck guitars mean. He says as he plays a bolt-on. And so I have these, you know, neck blank templates, like you do, and so it was that Raven was a set neck 22 fret guitar. Grab a template, make a neck, go to set it in. I'm like, why is it so? It's not, something's not lining up here. I apparently grabbed the wrong template to make the neck. I made a 24 fret bolt-on. I used a 24 fret bolt-on template for a set neck, and so it didn't match up, and you know, no big deal, just make another neck. That just tells me that I need to argan oil. It's like crack for your hair. Perhaps. I will also say that the keratin, there's like a keratin kind of treatment or whatever. It's kind of like the Brazilian blowout. Dude, shit's legit. Makes it smooth, shiny, humidity resistant, like really humidity resistant, and lasts for months. 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 Okay, favorite oddball. I don't really, favorite oddball Gibson. I don't know. I'm not really a Gibson guy. I don't know. And favorite oddball Fender. I don't really have, like, I hate Jazzmasters. Absolutely can't stand Jazzmasters and Mustangs and that stuff. You can just miss me with all of it. Although I love Johnny Marr, and Johnny Marr has a Jaguar, so Johnny Marr gets a free pass. You know, I guess I like Strats. I don't know. It's a bad answer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, JJ. Do I ever think of doing my take on any of those models? Well, I don't know. How do I think Robin would feel about the disaster soap opera that is Rat? Well, I'm sure he would be disappointed. He was a peacekeeper in the band, kind of. My hair is so long though, so I go through tubs of it, of shea butter. You know, it's a very dysfunctional group. Did I ever meet Randy? No, I'm not that old. Let's see. Have I ever done an ash neck? No, but my friend Adam did. And after he did that, he said, I understand why they don't really use that. Do I keep a copy of all of my builds? Like a Xerox copy? Some I keep, some I don't. Usually I try and keep like the first of anything, but it doesn't really work out all the time. Let's see. Oops, sorry. Sorry, YouTube. Wait, my phone is falling here. Oh no, my phone is falling. How did I meet Robin? I met him originally. Ooh, I am out of tune. I first met him outside an NA meeting. I was there supporting a friend who was at a meeting. They kind of knew each other, and they were just kind of talking. He was just out of rap. Really nice guy. Was clearly going through a very tough time. And then I met him again towards the last few years of his life through a connection with a mutual friend who had a bunch of, I met him through the Jackson Charvel Forum, and it was a place that I was very active for many years. And my friend Kurt had owned a bunch of Robin's guitars, and kind of got in touch with him at the convalescent center that he was living in. And this would have been maybe right around Christmas of 2000 or 2001. Maybe 2001. And no, that doesn't seem right. 2000 or 2001. And my friend Kurt had posted on the Jackson forum that, you know, he was wanting to get Robin a bunch of really awesome stuff for Christmas, and you know, he was in a convalescent home and, you know, pretty lonely. So he wanted to get him a bunch of stuff for Christmas, and if anybody wanted to contribute, to get in touch with him. So I did, and soon after, like January of 2001, that seems right. I flew out there and stayed with my friend Kurt, and we went to visit him. And you know, it was funny. Kurt picked me up at the airport, and I guess Robin was on the phone, and you know, I was like, "Oh, you're gonna come visit me?" Like, "Yeah, we're gonna come visit you tomorrow." He's like, "Well, you know, why don't you come visit me tonight?" So we did, and we went to where he was. Oh, how do you feel about lending your guitars out for reviews to YouTubers? I don't really do it. Yeah, I don't. It's not something that has made. I don't know. You know, Arnold from Arnold Plays Guitar, super great guy. Really like Arnold. Seen him at NAMM a few times because Perry and I share booth space at NAMM, and Arnold did a review of one of the conspiracy series while he was at the booth, and that was really nice, and I really appreciated that. I don't know. It's not really something I worry too much about. I think while it's definitely important to get the word out, it might be something I would consider in the future with the conspiracy series, but it really also just depends on the person. Because quite frankly, a lot of that review stuff isn't, I'm sorry, I don't get the impression that, you know, I just don't think that, it doesn't feel like something that I need to do right now. That's also something that might sound a little different from how I mean it. It's just not something that, it just doesn't feel like the right thing to do for now. I am far more interested in people who actually buy the guitars and enjoy them to tell their friends. Of course, sending something out to someone to review that has a very large audience, there can be value in that. But for right now, it's not something that I consider. I think that's the best answer that I can offer you. Bye, nice talking to you. Oh, thanks for watching. Fair enough. I wanted to do a music channel and possibly also gear stuff. Absolutely do it. start with the stuff that you have, and go forth. You know, yeah. What did I have? So then we got to where Robin was, and I said hello, and he said, so wait a minute, do you have any of my guitars? I'm like, no, I don't. It's like, okay, good, I like you. And he just, like, the rest of the night, he just gave my friend Kurt just relentless amount of shit in a very, very, very funny kind of way. He was a really funny guy. He was a really kind-hearted guy. It's very unfortunate what happened. He was very self-aware and didn't really complain or ask for sympathy. Yeah. Okay. There are a couple of other questions. What's New York's latest hotspot? Spicy. The abomination that is diet tea. Okay. Well, I don't really like anything that's diet related or light or whatever. I think you're better off just getting the regular version. Like, if you want a Coke, just have a Coke. But, don't have a ton of it. I'll have to pay my leg. All right, well, thanks, man. Goodbye from France. Bonne nuit. Yeah. What was I talking about? I don't remember. Oh, iced tea. It's another thing. So I live in Texas. I'm not from here. And the tea thing kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. I'm gonna share. It's like, oh, gee, Sully, thanks. Who gives a shit? Nobody. Where I'm from, it's iced tea. Tea is like hot tea that goes in one of these things. And now I have cold coffee. The drink is called iced tea. Iced tea. Tea that has been poured over ice. Therefore, it becomes cold and it is iced. I prefer unsweetened iced tea because I'm sweet enough as it is. But here it's called sweet tea or unsweet tea. And it just drives me crazy. It just drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. Just from a grammar Nazi kind of stance. And, I don't always use proper grammar, but yeah, the sweet. What kind of tea? Like, oh, okay, so I'm ordering something like an iced tea, sweet or unsweet. I always say because, well, that's how I do. Diet stuff, just avoid. Best blues pickups. Don't get pickups that are geared toward one musical genre. Get something that can handle multiple genres. Oh, there was a question. I am a huge fan of the pickups that. Am I a home beer brewer? No, I had one of those Mr. Beer things, and I made that a couple times, and that was fun. But I'm not really drinking too much these days. The pickups that I get from Grover Jackson are fucking fantastic. They are not super hot wound. They are voiced very evenly, so you can let your amp do the job. I am a huge fan of that mindset. While I do like a little bit more, Mr. J will say, Sully likes a little oomph. That is true, but all of the guitars that I build, if they are, I've stopped using other manufacturers' pickups for the most part, and I just use the stuff that I get from Grover. They're very versatile, and you can play anything with them. So I think that if you look at some of the guitar demos that are on the YouTube channel, you'll hear a lot of those playthroughs, and you'll find that you could play blues or jazz or whatever you want with them. So yeah, that's my answer. I think, will there be a pickup only offering from Sully Guitars? Possibly. Someone on YouTube asked me about thoughts on the Fishman Fluence pickups. I haven't tried them. Frank Falbo is a pal who helped design them, and he knows what he's talking about, and a lot of people like them. I've got a set that are going to go in a guitar for Adam Nanias eventually, but I haven't really tried them. I'm sure they're great. I am perfectly happy with what I'm getting from Mr. J and the tones that I get from them. Yeah. Pickup only offering from Sully Guitars. Yeah, kind of. So the in the process of the conspiracy series, I needed to, address the issue of, okay, so what pickups are going to go in there? For a manufacturing standpoint, it made more sense to work with them on some pickup recipes that would work for the conspiracy series guitars. And I have some samples, and I'm pretty happy with how they sound. They're definitely within the range of what I'm currently using, and there is a chance that I could make those available, like if someone wanted to purchase them and try them. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that just yet, but I can tell you that if you want to get the pickups that I get from Grover, specifically the bridge pickup is something that kind of I only use. It was something they made as a mistake and said, hey, yeah, Sully might like this. Sully likes mistakes. Am I going to Summer NAMM? I am not. I'm sorry, but I will be at Winter. Anything else? Oh, let's see. Do we have any other? Okay, talk about that. Talk about that. Does fuzzy logic tickle in the greatest way? Consistency in fruit and hand-built. Consistency in fruit, man. People that watch this know that, sometimes I'll end up with some mediocre ass cantaloupe. We don't make mistakes. There are happy accidents. Hey, Fishy, how you doing? Any plans for a USA factory? Meaning, like in what way? Like expanding into my own, having a US production line? Thought you'd like that. Okay, so hang on a second, Ed. So there's a US production line. Yes. So the plan in my head throughout this year is get the conspiracy series going, and that's going. For those of you on the YouTubery who aren't familiar with the Sully Guitars Conspiracy Series, please visit sullyguitars.com. Click the tab that says Conspiracy Series, and you'll see all about the production batch of guitars made by our partners in South Korea, the same factory that builds the LTD PRS SE and the wildly successful Ormsby GTR line, are making some Sullys. And damn it, they're good. So where can you look at the guitars? Well, Gary, where are you? If you are in Texas, you can see a couple at the Guitar Sanctuary in McKinney. You can see if you're in if you're in San Antonio, you can visit Lark Guitars and you can see the sparkly Ravens that were in NAMM. Someone asked, USA, question mark? If you're talking about the Conspiracy series, no, those are made in South Korea and they start at about $1,099. Now, you're in Ohio. I don't have any dealers in Ohio. I'm sorry. I would like some, but I don't have any at the moment. Going back to Edward's question, a US factory. So eventually, yes, I will move from the garage into a large workspace. What that will look like yet, I don't really know. However, throughout this year, there will be a kind of like a standard series of Sully guitars that are going to be more like semi-custom than production, because I'm still going to be doing a shitload of the work. It's just the CNCs are going to be used more. And what I will probably do, what feels right for me, is to have the semi-custom line will be, well, I'm still kind of formulating this, so bear with me on this. But the two ideas are, either I just make like a standard series and I say, so you want a 71, this is what is on it. It's these inlays, it's these handful of colors, it's whatever. You can see a really beautiful one at a Buck Cherry concert. You can see a few at Buck Cherry concerts. So, you know, and like if you want a Raven, like to me a Raven is these components. This is what that guitar is. And like a 624, it's a bolt-on, it's alder, it's got maple, it doesn't have binding, it's got, you know, the headstock's going this way, it's going this way. And, you know, it's like I have these visions of what these guitars are, and I may just wind up, you know, just making some of them as like a standard series. And then you would have the Conspiracy series, which are made in South Korea, like I mentioned. They're fucking fantastic guitars. They have stainless steel frets, they have compound radius fretboards. They're not made by 8-year-olds. A lot of it is done by hand. Actually, a staggering amount of work is done by hand. And they're very well built. But for those that want something made here, that's cool. The Conspiracy series is not going to replace anything. It's just adding to. So the standard series, pricing will probably be a little bit lower than what the US stuff is now. And then you can still have, you know, the full-on custom version, which, you know, definitely more options available. The cost of that's going to get higher. But so that's I hope, Ed, that answers your question. It's kind of how things are going this year. What influenced my decision to use hip shot locking tuners? Oh yeah, kind of like GNL, custom from a menu, sort of, yeah. You know, the hip shot stuff, it's fashion business. The products are fine. There's a lot that the products are fine. I like the tuner buttons. I like that they look a little different. The tuners feel good. They're pretty solid. I like the bridges. So that's what I'm using. Going to make the, hang on a second. Where do we go? Oh, come on back. Hello, there we go. Going to make the white breakfast, well, brunch. Oh, nice. Enjoy. Good job. See you later. Thanks for joining. Tell a friend, won't you? Yeah. So, eventually I would probably like to have, you know, Sully branded locking tuners. When slotting nuts, how much of the nut do you allow the string to contact? All of it or just a portion of it? So how much of the nut do you allow the string to? Well, you want a downward angle. So you want, like, you don't want the nut sitting flat. It needs to taper. You can generally kind of, on an angle headstock, you kind of either, you kind of follow the angle of the headstock. Yeah. I think there's a great, if you haven't checked out the videos on the Stuart McDonald channel, there's a shitload of information in there. A lot of really, really, really good information about stuff like, nuts and whatever. What did you do with the Les Paul that I repaired some years back? That was amazing. Thank you. I sold it to a friend of mine. When I was done with it, I finally realized why I didn't keep or bond with Les Pauls. And from that guitar, the 71 was born. So it all worked out. Let's see. I think I'm currently caught up on questions. Oh boy, this is going a long time. I think also, kind of like Gina. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm going to check one more place for questions that I might have missed. If you've asked a question and I haven't answered it yet, if you want to re-ask, please do. Sometimes it's hard to stay on top of the comments, although I think I did a pretty decent job so far today. Okay. I asked this in the conspiracy thing. Okay, cool. All right, kids. I'm gonna wind this down. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. For those who joined us on YouTube, thanks for doing so. Damn it, I'll try and include you guys each Saturday. But if you are a fan of the videos and you miss seeing regular updates, please just go to the Sully Guitars Facebook page, because there's a ton more, and I do a bunch of live streams from there where I'm actually working on stuff. So if you like watching me work on stuff, you can still watch me work on stuff. So until next time, which is likely going to be next Saturday. I'll probably do something before then. Have the best weekend ever. So, well, I hope I don't have the best weekend ever, because if I have the best weekend ever, then next weekend I'm gonna well, this weekend's cool. Last weekend, but I understand what you're saying, and thank you. So until next time, see you. Oh, slow morning for me. I went to sleep 3 hours ago. I didn't have any questions. Have a good Saturday. All right, thanks. Talk to you later. Banksy says bye. See ya. And we're gonna stop it here, and then we're gonna stop it. Oh, I forgot how we stop it over here. I think we just hit the X.